Yo, what's up, starseeds, gods, goons, goblins, goddesses, whatever you may be? This is episode 7, Shadow Beings, and it's not going to be just it's not going to be experiences. I only have one of a little boy's experience at the end. But what this episode is more of is information. It's very informational. It'll get you if you're having these problems, it'll give you the information you need to correct them. It's going to show you how to protect yourself and how to know what type of shadow being you may be dealing with. All right. Uh, oh, check this out. Obsidian arrowhead cuts right through dark spirits. You got to get yourself one. I'm also going to do an episode on crystals and stones like this so you know how to use them. You got to know how to use the crystals. Don't let them just sit there. Put them to work. You know what I mean? So, anyways, let's get to the information and a little story at the end and call it a night. And there are many types of shadow beings because there are many realms and dimensions. But for the sake of continuity and understanding, we will start with these first 4 to 5 types or categories that I can hopefully help explain well enough that you can have some sort of an understanding. Category 1, I'm going to call attachments, but this really has nothing to do with what you think. It's not an attachment of a spirit onto you, or like what they call a hitchhiker spirit. No, this is a spirit that passes away and appears to a human or anyone as a shadow because it was too attached to this world. It was materialistic or felt like people couldn't deal without them being gone, so they clung to this realm instead of going wherever they're supposed to. Okay, so category 1, we'll call that attachments. A human person that has disincarnated is the type 1. Some humans, when they cross over, stay in this reality and keep their human form. I would not stay here, but some of the reasons why, let's say, your mother would look like a shadow is because she has passed. She crossed the veil, but did not go into the light or did not follow their her guides, we can say. So basically, she would stay behind for a reason like being extremely materialistic or really doesn't want to leave a family member very attached to this realm. Normally, they would follow other members that passed before them, but this means something is kind of wrong. A murder, even a murder can leave a spirit stuck here because they don't realize that they died or were killed. Okay? A lot of times it can also be ego driven if the shadow remains here. They can stay, they end up getting kind of stuck. They stay because they don't think someone can live. This is why you have castles and mansions that have sometimes many spirits, but there's almost always a specter, one that is in thinks they're in charge. They don't want to give up their homes to anyone. Another reason why you would see a category one shadow, it could be guilt. It's another reason why a spirit would remain here. They would look like a shadow most of the time because they are now on the other side. So they're almost like cloaked in like a black coat or something. If a person believes that they didn't do enough in their life or regret something about it, they will get stuck here instead of moving on to their next journey. That's another way for these beings to not move forward. Next, we have the second category, shadow beings, that could be human spirit that with time will begin to lose their human form. And don't forget, it can also be yourself projecting your own fear of a shadow. I just wanted to say that because our society's agreed upon fears from movies and books kind of get into the subconscious, and this almost any spirit on the other side can use that against you because what do they want? Fear energy. That's what they want from you. So here's an example. Let's say a woman has been haunting a house for several, even 100 years, right? She will begin to rot in her human spirit. She cannot feed on the light here, only low vibrations now. So she will slowly change into something else. She will start to look decayed and even smell. Humans would pick up on it, especially if they were a little bit sensitive. But most of the time, you're going to get a decayed smell when you get a spirit that is very old or very dark. Their spirit body begins to break down and turn dark slash rotten. Maybe they start to crawl on the floor now. They're becoming very beast like. Over a long period of time, it's gonna morph you. They can look also like a black blob or like smoky. People want to automatically jump to the D word, but that might not even be the case. You know, it could just be a human spirit beginning to spoil. Sometimes even seeing the shadow man with the hat can be just a societal fear, and the entity only being able to feed on fear will appear like the hat man to get fed by you or your family members. And now we have the third category, shadow being. Shadow people are usually in a place that feeds them. So you can be a big player in your own haunting. Low vibrations hang out with low vibrations. So if you're in a new home at work and you start to see shadows hanging around you more and more, start to ask yourself, why is there a shadow being here that seems to be following me? What can I do, or what am I doing to attract it? Because it could be you and the way you vibe. There's a good example of this in one of the Insidious uh, movies. I'm not sure which one it is, but there's a real dark D word. Everyone's treating it as a D, And so the the old lady goes into like the spirit world and eventually gives her a bear, a teddy bear, or some sort of toy, or is it a boy? I don't know. Basically, it remembers who it was and becomes human again and is released from its dark path that it was on. So just be happy, and shadow beings will stay away. Okay, the fourth category of shadow beings. If I was going to use the word demon, it would be for this category. The other ones are more of the transformation. This one is almost the completion of what you're headed towards if you stay here and feed off of negativity. There are very ancient beings out there that don't even reincarnate anymore. They go by many names, and I'm not going to feed any of them by saying any of them. This category will use the other people categories 1 through 3 to bring them the low energy for their nutrition or negative nutrition. Humans will most likely never see these beings. They are the puppet masters. They send the beings known as Shadow Man, Hat Man, Slender Man, and all the lower vibrational entities to work for them. They avoid being reborn in order to keep their wisdom from years and years of ancient sorcery and gathered knowledge, you know? With information comes power, and they really, really understand how to do that and how to keep that power. You can stop feeding these lower astral entities by working on yourself, doing things to reverse your mindset, thinking at a higher current, raising your thought process will keep a lot of negative entities away from you. If you feel anger, you can take a run, pray, meditate, dance, sing, and laugh. Laughter, I don't think they like. They'll laugh, but if you laugh back, they won't like it. Uh, Learn to work through times of high emotions. So basically, when you start to see these things, they start picking at you. They start making you, uh, they give you images in your head that you would never even think about just to raise your blood pressure to cause a fight. And that's how they continue to grow power with your energy. Only high vibes survive. Now, this story I was uh, given to me by it was given to me by an 11-year-old boy who had an experience with shadow beings, and he wants to remain anonymous. Of course, I can tell why. And so I'm gonna tell it through his eyes. All right, let's begin. It was around 3 or 4 in the morning. I was like 6 or 7 when I saw them. The first time I looked out my mom's window, that's when I could see them um, a little like lower than the window. Um, I went to sleep in her room and woke up to go to the bathroom because it gets hot upstairs. It was kind of hot. We have up and downstairs. So I was already upstairs, kind of just looking down. And I get up I walked to the bathroom. When I turned my head toward the window, and there they were. From far away, on the top of my neighbor's roofs, I see them looking back at me. It looked like four, maybe, scattered figures around looking up right at me. They didn't move. Dark, really dark figures. It was like they were frozen. It was a person, but really tall, even bigger than my dad. And my dad's like 6 feet. I got freaked out and turned on all the lights, the TV, and a little lamp. When I got to the window, they were all gone, and I couldn't go back to sleep that night. Another time, I saw only two on the roofs. They were on different roofs, but what was really freaky is when I saw one figure standing in the street. It looked like a real shadow in inside of the gravel of the street, like the pavement part. I would see them on and off for months. Some of them had different like hairstyles. They seemed different. None of them fat or mm, muscular, just tall and skinny. And I never saw any of them move. That was the scariest part. They knew when I was looking out of the window every time. Then, out of nowhere, after I had gotten my Saint Michael necklace, it just stopped, and I haven't seen them since. Okay, now this is what I consider to be an actual shadow person, like people. Okay, all the other categories have a humanistic aura to them. What I'm about to explain to you now, I consider true shadow people from the shadow dimension. Okay. Their entire dimension is shadow. These let's get to this. Okay. In the shadow realm or world, these beings do not like humans. It is said there is a jealousy for humans because we have detail and features. They, on the other hand, do not. And this is more ancient than ancient. This is a different dimension. So who knows how old? I've heard folklore where the shadow world was created before the earth was created. Okay. So they have no faces and they put you in a state of sleep paralysis. These entities are three-dimensional shadows. Shapes and builds, even hairstyles, but it's all blacked out. You'll see different shapes, like they're actual they're a people, but not humans. They are faceless. Humans are far more distinguishable and unique, and this is a big cause for their dislike of the human race. Uh, they do come into our realm and haunt homes. They take our living energy, they take our life energy because we have detail and features. They, on the other hand, do not. And this is more ancient than ancient. This is a different dimension. So who knows how old? I've heard folklore where the shadow world was created before the earth was created. Okay. So they have no faces and they put you in a state of sleep paralysis. These entities are three-dimensional shadows, shapes and builds, even hairstyles, but it's all blacked out. You'll see different shapes, like they're actual, they're a people, but not humans. They are faceless. Humans are far more distinguishable and unique, and this is a big cause for their dislike of the human race. Uh, they do come into our realm and haunt homes. They take our living energy, they take our life energy as well. I know of okay, cut that after energy, life energy. So I know of a story where a large shadow being and a little one came to a random home. Well, the first time it was random, but then it kept coming. Um, so it was like a an adult shadow being and a child shadow being. They put the young boy, the human boy, into a sleep paralysis and slowly started walking over to him. The big one stayed at the doorway while the little one kind of was walking, hopping over to the boy's bed. The little one was more childlike, crept over to the boy's bed while the boy tried to scream but could not. He could not even move. The the child shadow then said in a weird voice, "I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you." And after it said that, it jumped on his chest and plunged its fist into the boy's stomach and started twisting all the organs inside of this boy's chest and stomach until he began to cry. And in a flash, the boy was awake in his bed. Now it's daytime, and he was sweaty and in pain. And under his shirt, when he checked and picked it up, was the bruise the size of a child's fist. So what I have here, what I found out for all my listeners is a protection you can do if you go to a new home or at your home now if you have weird stuff going on. You could use juniper ash for protection or any type of wood that you make into ash. And I'm going to tell you how to do it for protection. How to prepare the ash. Start a regular fire in any pit outside. Use natural wood. You do not buy that store bought crap or who knows what they put on it. You know, the Home Depot wood. Don't get that. Cut your own wood. Find your own wood. Place some cedar in the flames. Okay, there's cedar trees all over. Go get yourself some. Unless you're in Alaska, I don't know. You're gonna want to talk to the talk to the elements, talk to the universe, and say a prayer protection, and talk to the fire. Okay, may sound crazy, but if you need this, do this. The fire is alive, so you're going to want to talk to it and let it know what you want, what job you want it to do. Place the You're going to place the cedar in there as a offering for the fire. Let the ash get really, really nice and white, you know. Place it all in a glass jar. Now you can bless your home and yourself with all the ash. That's how you make blessed ash. You know what I'm saying? Place it on your body. Like men, I think men have to put it on their left side. So on your forehead, but on your left side of your chest. Women, place it on your right side of your chest. Put it on your kids, put it on your pets, put it on the doorways. You could even do a giant circle around your entire property if you have enough ash. That's one way to at least start to protect yourself, especially if you live near the woods, because let's just say there's real, real creepy shit out there. This episode of Starblood Chronicles was brought to you by Kevin Yelm, a fitness coach from LA. You can find him on IG, KY underscore coaching.